In this video, we're going to talk about this date filter. And it's really important that you understand this filter. This is one of the filters that you're going to be using an awful lot, and you need to understand how this works. It can be a little bit tricky to kind of get this concept at first, but I think as soon as you understand it, and it's really not that hard, it really is going to make your usage of TrendMiner Pro all that much better. And so I think the easiest way to demonstrate this is actually just to visualize it. So I've made a little sample graph here. So let's just say for a second that these spikes on this graph represent searches for the keyword fishing. We're just going to pick a keyword fishing, okay? And so on this day, there was just a lot of searches for the keyword fishing. There was a few more than normally here, and this is the normal level here. And then there was a spike here, a normal level here, spike here. And then there was a big spike here, and then it's come back to normal, okay? And let's just say for our example that this represents all the data we have, okay? So maybe this over here is 2005, and over here is today, okay? So this represents all the data that we have for the keyword. So if you go over here to TrendMiner Pro and you select all time, basically you're telling Google, for all the time period that you have data for this keyword, take all that data and then basically find trends either around a keyword or if you selected categories around a specific category. That's what this would look like, okay? Now let's pretend we apply a date filter. So I'm just going to put this on here. Okay, so what we have here is we have our little simulated date filter. And we can choose, say this was the last 12 months, and then let's say this is the last 90 days. This is the last 30 days. I realize this example is even a little flawed because my window size is staying the same. But I think you get the idea. Basically, depending on which date range you select, you determine what window Google is using. So if you were to pick this one right here, you may not spot a trend for this keyword because these are just so small. But if your date range was here, it would show up in TrendMiner Pro because there's this huge spike here. So you see the idea that your date range restricts the window of time that Google is looking at the data. And you have the option in TrendMiner Pro of selecting all time, the last 12 months, the last 90 days, the last 30 days, and the last 7 days. Let's take a minute to talk about when you would want to use each. If you're just looking for basically just like keyword research, you're just looking for as many keywords as possible and you don't really care so much about any specific time frame, then obviously all time is what you want. But if you're looking maybe to build a business, or maybe you're looking to start an entirely new topic in your blog and you want to pick a trend that's really steady over time, I would suggest using 12 months. That's an entire year. That gives you enough time to see if something's really just a quick fad for the purposes of, say, content marketing, something that's not requiring a lot of investment startup costs. If you've got something that's going to take, $1 million to produce, then I'd want to see all time, and I want to make sure that it's a long-term trend and not just a fad. It's looking at all the data they've got. I want to see that this is going up consistently over all the months of the data they have. But if you're looking for something like blog post or maybe starting a new site, 12 months is a good time period to kind of see recent trends that have occurred. Something that takes less investment of time and you really can get in and get out quickly, 90 days is good. 30 days, really that one you got to be careful because it can look like a trend, but in reality just be a fad that's occurring over just a couple of months. And then 7 days, really, this would be if you just want to stay on top of something in the news. You really, for 7-day trends, it's very, you don't really know the long-term effect. We're going to have another video where we kind of break down using these together, but I wanted to basically give you the concept and the idea of how the date feature works because it's really important that you understand that. If you set the date feature incorrectly, you don't get back really good data, or you can get back data that's misleading for what you're trying to use it for. But if you will understand this concept of the date window, the amount of time that Google uses in their database to determine a trend, you can get back really, really good trends that you can use in your business.